Today we're going to take a look at a few of the new dashboard features in Cherwell version 5. One of the first things that we notice now is that texts can override the dash with their own theme if they would like to. So all they have to do is right click and change the user theme to something other than was defaulted by the administrator. Now that's provided they have the rights to do that. They can still set another dash as their default, so maybe they come in with a certain role and that role gives them a default dashboard, but they could set any of the dashes that they choose as their default again if they have the rights to do so. We've got some control positioning that's been added, which is really nice. So if I right click on this dashboard and edit it, or if you were to go up to Tools, Dashboards, Dashboard Manager, and navigate to a dashboard and do an edit, we now can have some snap tos. So if I grab a part and move it around, you'll see I get little snap to lines. Up here in the upper left corner, I can use the guides. If I uncheck that, I don't get the guides to make him snap to other parts. I still get the grid. If I uncheck the grid, then I can still slide him around, but I don't get the little tick marks. And I can set the number of tick marks that I want here based on a little slider or actually just typing in. So maybe I want to go down to 10. Select that, show the grid, and now I've got some nice little dots that I can snap to. That was not previously available, which is pretty nice. I can use my arrow keys to move a part. If I hold down my shift key and use the arrow keys, it basically moves that part 10 ticks at a time. Using the arrow by itself is 1 at a time. We've got some advanced drill down features we can do on a part now. So if I click on this part, right click and edit, go to his widget properties. Within there, we now have a section called drill down. So previously you could just double click on a part and it would just take you to the results list for that part. That is still the default. Go to the record list. But now I can also execute a command. For example, maybe I double click on that and that would bring up another gauge of breached incidents. I could go to another dashboard. So this could call another dash that would filter the parts in that dash based on the results of this grid that I just had. Or I can just not allow drill down as we were able to previously do. So maybe you give this part to a manager in a dashboard and they use the dashboard viewer, and that viewer doesn't allow them to drill in to a ticket and take up a license. We also have animation available now. So if I go to display, I have a checkbox for allow animation. So what that does for us is if I go back and save this dash, and you'll see if I refresh the dash, this part will animate. So it's going to take whatever data is in those series and actually fill up those parts, or fill up the gauge, or fill up the pie chart. So it's a nice little visual add so that we can see the data in those parts actually animate. A widget search feature has been added. So if I go back in and edit the dashboard, over on the left, there's a widget search that's been added. So perhaps you've got maybe hundreds of widgets and you forget which folders they're in. I could just type a keyword in here like IT, hit the search, and it's going to limit then those widget parts to things that have the word IT in them. And I could get rid of the folders altogether. So if I click on the folder icon here, it hides them and shows me just all the widgets in a nice big alphabetical list. So 2 ways to make it a little bit easier for us to find those widgets. We've also added an undo. So you can now do undo, redo, cut, copy, paste parts, and we can zoom in as well. I can zoom in on that dash or zoom out on that dash so I could get some really fine control over the alignment perhaps of dashboard parts. So maybe I'm going to move this part over here. Then I've got an undo now. There's my copy. And there's my cut. So previously we couldn't cut a part out and move it somewhere else or paste it somewhere else, but now we can. And text also can now be wrapped. So if I go down to my controls, let me bring my folders back, go down to my text control, drop a piece of text, and type something like perhaps this text can now be wrapped. So then I just have to go up and click on my text wrap button, and that text will now wrap for me. Go down and save my dash again. The parts will reanimate. There's my rewrapped text. And as I said, I can cut and paste and copy now in this latest version of Cherwell. So that's a few of the things you can now do with the new dashboards and a couple of the widgets in Cherwell version 5.